This movie will give you an overview of WinDoor 13, which is an add-on for Vectorworks 2008. WinDoor 13 is made up of 3 tools and 3 menu commands and some symbol libraries. The libraries will be covered in a separate movie. The tools are in the building tool set in the Architect workspace, and the main tool is this one here, which has a window and door icon. This is the one that you'll use to place doors and windows into walls. There's also the Draw Window Objects tool, which allows you to draw corner windows, bay and bow windows, and so on. And in the Annotations or DIMS Notes toolset, you'll also see the WinDoor ID tool. In the menu commands, they are in the AEC menu at the bottom: Create Window Elevation, Open Close WinDoor 3D, and Show Hide WinDoor Detail. These menu commands will also be covered in a separate movie. So switching to a floor plan that has some window objects in it, let's take a look at the actual information that you get when you select a window object. As a plug-in object, you'll see that the options that are displayed are in the Object Info palette, and there are a series of buttons that you can click to jump to more detailed settings. If we collapse the General Options setting here, the settings you see now are the base settings that you will always see with any window object. You'll always be able to set the overall width and overall height. You'll always have the schedule it's going on to, and you'll always have the buttons to click. If the window or door type is a single unit like these ones here, or is a combination unit where all of the parts to the combination unit are the same, then you will be able to choose the window or door type from this menu here. If the object is a combination unit like this one, and I'll switch to a 3D view and zoom in a little bit, this particular object is made up of a window on one side, doors in the middle, and a different window on the other side. So you'll notice now that the window door type is not available here because this unit has to be edited in the form dialog. And we'll look at the form dialog now. It's telling us that it's an internal view, and there's the number of width divisions have been changed from 1, which is the default setting, up to 3. And when you change the width divisions, you then get the opportunity to specify the width of each of those divisions and what is actually going into each of the divisions. And you'll see here that we have a double hung, we have doors, and then we have louvered windows here, and it's exactly what's been chosen from these pop-ups here. If there were a number of height divisions, then the same thing would happen with height divisions. If I move over here to another combination unit and click on the form dialog here, you'll see that this one has 3 width divisions and 4 height divisions. You can see the 4 height divisions here, and you can see the 3 width divisions. You're also able to combine the vertical divisions using this extend down feature. So for the top frame here, we've specified fixed glass, then we've extended down this frame into that frame into the bottom here, which combines these together, and so the very bottom one here will specify what fills in this particular opening here. In this case it was a door. In this dialog we also have the ability to add custom heads, which can be curved, semicircular, sloping, and gable. You can also choose which part of this is going to display in 2D. Typically it's the bottom, so that in a 2D view you'll see a fixed glass here, you would see the hinge doors, and then you would see fixed glass. But sometimes, depending on the combination of settings you have, you might actually want to show the second or third level up in your plan view. So that's the form dialog. Let's now take a look at the geometry dialog. And in the geometry dialog we've divided it up into 4 basic sections: wall, frame, sash, and door. The wall is treated as a separate entity because things that are added to the wall are, strictly speaking, not part of the door or window. So here under sill you can choose whether it has a sloping or vertical face sill and then set the sizes for the sill. This will typically be used for masonry construction. For existing walls we have the ability to show an opening as being removed from a wall, and I'll just cancel out of this and switch to a top view to look at one of these openings. And here's one here, and if I click on that and click on the geometry dialog, you'll see here that I've ticked the box that says remove opening from existing wall, draw dashed outline in top plan view so you can see the dash of the window or door that's being removed, draw repaired wall in top plan view, so here's the repaired wall, and if you have Vectorworks Architect you can choose the wall style, and you can also set how far past the existing opening the dashed wall or the repaired wall is shown. We also have the ability to turn on or off the fact that we're going to see a dashed outline in 3D. The other thing that you can do with this dialog is to show a new opening in an existing wall, and if you choose this option then you can choose a wall style to go on either side of the existing of the new opening in the existing wall. An example of this in the drawing here is this window here, and you can see here that I've got a patch of brickwork on either side of this opening of this new window in an existing wall. Moving on in the form dialog, under frame we can set all the member sizes for the frame, and there's a diagram down here indicating what the various sizes do. We also consider the internal trim and external trim to be part of the frame, and so that's where you set up the trim and how it appears, and you have separate settings for 2D and 3D, and you can set all the sizes here. Same for the external trim. We have sashes, the member sizes for the sash, and a few other settings like 3D text to indicate the style of sash that it is, and glazing for glazing bars or muntins, and other settings that affect glass such as the louver spacing and glass block size. And then under door we have the door member sizes and the glazing as well. The copy or apply dialog is a new feature in WinDoor 13, and it's a very powerful one. It links into the symbol libraries, and you can save WinDoor objects as symbols, put them in the library, and then access those symbols that you've saved via this dialog. And here are the default ones that come with WinDoor. Not only can you save whole WinDoor units, but you might want to save units that have specific settings for sills or trim or color or whatever, because what you can then do is to select an object out of the library and apply it to the file as the default. You can apply it to one or more selected WinDoor objects, and remember in Vectorworks 2008 you can select multiple multiple wall objects at once. So I can select a number of different WinDoor objects in walls and apply some settings to those in one hit. And the final option here is to apply the settings to all WinDoor objects, all windows, all doors, and some other choices here as well, and maybe only on the active layer or to the whole file. And finally you get to choose what attributes are applied. So you can click none here. You might just want to bring in the trim settings from something you've stored in your library, and you can just click that, and only the trim settings will get transferred from this object from your library to all WinDoor objects, or to the selected WinDoor objects, or to the objects to the default settings in the file. Let's take a look at how we might use this then. I'll go to a right ISO view and select this, and I might say, look, I need to replace that. I don't want that unit. I want a completely different unit. So we can just go copy or apply, copy from the WinDoor symbols folder, and we choose what I want to put in there. Let's say it's this unit here. Apply it to the selected WinDoor object, And let's apply all of the attributes including the overall size, although if I didn't want to apply the size I can if I do want to apply the size, you'll uncheck that. If I don't want to apply the size, then you can leave this checked. And if you don't apply the size, then the size of the current window object is what will get used. So if I click OK now, this unit is going to change its configuration to the one from the library, maintain its existing size. Let's give another example. In this file here, I'll just do a quick render and spin this around. You can see that that these windows here all have sills on them, and I might want to turn off the sills on all of the windows at the same time. Now, the way I would do that then is I select one of them, I go to the to the geometry dialog, and under sill I turn off the sill, and you'll see now that the sill has disappeared from that unit. I can then use copy or apply, copy from the selected object, apply to all windows, click none, and then choose just the trim and sill settings, click OK, and the sills are going to disappear off all of the windows in this drawing. Another example, I might have been using custom colors. I might have a set of colors that I've set up for a door or a window. I think I've got one set up here for doors. Let's just spin this around a little bit. So we've got a set of doors here, and in my library I've saved something that has some custom colors in it. If I select this, I click copy or apply, I go to my library, and down the bottom I've got one of these color ones here. Apply to the selected window object, and all I want is the pen and color settings, so I'll click none and then just choose pen and color settings, and that is going to then copy the color settings from that library item and apply them to this window object. So you can see that the copy or apply feature is something that can really speed up working with doors and windows. Let's now look at the IDs and Schedules dialog. I'll pop back to a top plan view here, and I'll select a window. In this drawing I've also already added some door or window units, and you can see that when I select any of them I immediately get a list of all of the windows that have been scheduled in the drawing. Now, there are a number of things that I can do in this dialog, and one of them is that I can drag the doors and windows around to change their order in the list. This is the like the proposed numbers here, and these are the existing numbers here. I can also change the start number, so I might want to start numbering on this layer at say 10. And so once I get this list looking how I want it to display, and I get this list here in the order that I want it, and the black one here is the selected window object, the grey ones are the other ones in the drawing, then I can just go update IDs on drawing to match list, and the IDs are going to update on the drawing and these two lists here will now match. This dialog is also where we can choose from our ID symbols library the ID symbol that we want to use for doors, windows, combination units, and so on. And these are scale specific, so you need to create them for the different various scales that you might want to show IDs at. The default ones are at both 1 to 50 and 1 to 100. And here we can also set things like whether there are leading zeros or not, and whether the IDs are kept horizontal and so on. And we can add additional information to doors and windows for the schedule. The ID tool can also be used to place doors ID tags and to specify a particular order that you want the IDs to be placed in. We'll look at this in a separate movie. The final dialog is the classes and pens, and here in one spot you can set all of the classes for all window objects that are used on this computer. So use and edit master classes will use the same classes for all your window objects. If you want to use unique classes, then you select this option here, and then the choices you make here will be independent for each window object. The same thing applies for pens and colors. In one spot you can set the pens and colors for 2D line weight and color, 3D line weight and color, and 3D fill. Again, you can use unique pens and colors for this object, or you can use the master pen list. If you do change something in the master pen list and you want all of the window objects to update, you simply make the change here, and you can then update the window objects by clicking that and clicking OK. You'll also notice here that we have direction arrows, both the line thickness and dash style for both 2D and 3D, and also the color. We can also set here what we're going to see for things like reflected ceiling plans and the dash line in demolition or windows that are going to be removed. So this dash style here determines the dash style that you will see for a window or door that's being removed. Finally, let's just take a quick look at the unit, the drawing here, and you can see some of the different types of window objects that can be created. This is a corner unit, so we've got mitered glass on the corner, but we've also got a couple of opening sashes there. We've got multi-track sliding door, we've got folding doors where you have a different number of folding doors on each side. Moving around here, this is an overhead door, and with overhead doors there are a number of different types of overhead doors, including rolling, lifting, folding, and so on. And with overhead doors you can specify to have some of the panels glazed or not, and you'll see that here the glazing position can be all, or just the top one, or just the bottom one, or a lot of varieties or variations of that as well. One final feature I just want to mention is the maximum sash width. Here it appears like I have divided this unit into 4, but in fact it's using the maximum sash width functionality. If I click on the form dialog, you'll see that there's only one width division, and that's because in the geometry dialog under sash we can set the maximum sash width, and here it's set for 1200 or 4 feet. What this means is that if my overall window width exceeds that amount, then the sash is going to get, or the overall unit is going to get divided up so that I don't exceed this number here. So if I put a lower number in here like 900, which is about 3 feet, and I click OK, you'll see that this will actually divide up even further so that each sash does not exceed 900 millimeters. So that's WinDoor 13. Hopefully it's given you a bit of an idea of what it can do and how it can be useful for you.